if you did a lot of curves for your car, we can go back some curves for this car. Let's see if I do that, and if I go out to here, and you can let it will help you find where it will be a tangent. Let's see if it snaps. Where that blue line is, it will create a nice smooth shape here. And then so now I've got this nice curvy shape. So when I push and pull this stuff away, I've got a really nice curvy car. But the new problem is doing some of the geometric work like I had done earlier to this guy here now on what I did on the previous example is now a lot more complicated because it'd be hard for me to produce uniform geometry on these curves because of all of the different spots, the potential for the infinite number of spots on a curve, right? There's a different way we can do and cut into this from the top view, and that's where this guy comes in. Okay, so I'm going to draw my top view here, and I'm going to use the line tool to create some reference lines, some geometry to help me do this. In fact, I think I'm going to get these halfway points in here still. Notice how I can use my zoom to control my view a little bit. And if you have a mouse, I'm using a mouse. I pretty much every time I try to do this CAD software stuff, I want to have a mouse. Notice when it snaps to the red, it's along the red axis, and so that's what I want to do. This is the middle point, so I'm going to go to there. And basically setting up this geometry lets me make this shape symmetric based on this centerpiece, the center line, which is the midpoint. I'm going to delete a bunch of this stuff out and then use the push-pull tool to push this out and then combine the two tools. Let's see how this works. Let's see if I do this. Okay, so now I can use the push-pull tool to push this all the way out. Okay, so big deal. What now? Now we've got to do a really kind of a complicated thing. This is where we're going to take these two bits of geometry, this side view here and this top view here, and we're going to combine them and subtract away. We're going to intersect the two geometries so that it creates a new set of line work, and then we just peel away the pieces we don't want. Okay, so to do that part now, I'm going to click 3 times, click, 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 to select this whole thing here. And this, by the way, is a really good time to save your work if you're happy with everything at this point, because you're going to want to have like a solid place to refer back to if you goof up. So I'm going to click, 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 and I'm going to use the M for move tool. Okay, and I'm going to take this guy and grab it right here by the midpoint, and I'm going to come over here and match it up to the midpoint of the other block. Now I know this looks crazy, but now I'm going to click, click, click again, and now everything is selected. And I'm going to right click, and we've got intersect faces with selection. Okay, and where there was no line work, there is now line work here. Especially right in here, you can see there's now lines. There's lines going in here. So now there's a bunch of superfluous material here we can just delete away. You'll see what happens here when I start deleting some of this stuff off. You can see that there's a car inside here still. And remember that Control Z is your friend. If we accidentally take something out, we don't mean to, and we end up seeing the inside, especially something like this happen, we can just Control Z and put it back in. And I'm going to take this line out and these guys. Sometimes knowing what comes and goes can be a little bit confusing, so you just have to kind of, like I said, we want to have a spot to go back to. We get these little glitchy guys here. Sometimes there's a little bits of artifacts and stuff that show up we can't get rid of, and that's okay. It happens. It's going to happen to me probably on this one. But you can see as I peel away different pieces, my car, what ends up being the combination of the two parts is what remains. Is there a little bit of something there? No, just rendering it a little bit. Oh, there is a little something here still. See, this kind of thing sometimes shows up, and I'm not always sure how to get rid of that without goofing it up. And so if this sort of thing shows up on your model, don't knock yourself out trying to figure out and make it go away, because it's not letting me. I'm clicking and dragging across it. It's not letting me. It's just a glitchy artifact, and when we do this kind of thing sometimes, I have had the software show up when I open it again and say, hey, we noticed some glitches. What would you like it to do? We want us to fix this thing, and then I can tell it to fix it, and then that stuff can go away. But don't worry too much about that. I know that this sort of thing happens, and that's not your fault.